Volunteers in Nelsonville are knocking on doors as part of an effort to count everyone in the city. Plus, city officials worry about graffiti in Athens. And in sports, 2 Ohio football stars are Mid-American Conference Players of the Week. Newswatch starts right now. Good evening, I'm Joe Collins. Welcome to Newswatch, your source for news impacting southeastern Ohio. We're going to start off with Ben Schwartz, who has an update on the population count in Nelsonville. Over to you, Ben.
Thanks, Joe. The effort to recount Nelsonville's population continues today as the city works to avoid becoming a village under state rules. Nelsonville volunteers knocking on doors. Part of an effort to recount the city's entire population. Everyone from regular locals to firefighters and city officials are pitching in to record the names and addresses of every Nelsonville resident, working to challenge federal census data and bring Nelsonville's population count back above 5,000.
Today alone has been a great example of how the census missed a lot of these folks, and how community peer-to-peer outreach, is finding some folks already that weren't counted the first time.
At stake, the city's status as a city. Under state rules, a population under 5,000 means Nelsonville would be classified as a village.
We cannot afford to lose our status as a city, and so therefore this recount is of supreme importance. If we don't have the city status, we will lose the opportunity for grants to help with infrastructure, for roads and everything else around here.
While counters are out and working today, last night the Rotary Club fed residents free of charge at a community dinner, asking for names and addresses of those attending, another aspect of the recount effort. And while the recount still has some hurdles to overcome, City Auditor Taylor Sappington believes the process is working so far.
I think, often the city has trouble getting word out to its citizens, but when it's something where we're going to go to everybody's door, they hear about that quick. They want to know who's coming and why are we coming.
The city has around 15 volunteers working from 10 a.m. through 7 p.m. counting residents. They plan to work through the week before organizing and submitting the numbers to Ohio's Secretary of State. Reporting for Newswatch in Nelsonville, I'm Ben Schwartz. Officials say they're aiming to finish the count by the end of this week. If successful in bringing its population count above 5,000, Nelsonville will remain a city through at least the next decade. Back to you, Joe.
Thank you, Ben. Election season is here. Today is the first day of early voting for the upcoming November election in Ohio. Voters can now cast their ballot in person at their local Board of Elections during regular business hours. To vote by mail, voters must request an absentee ballot application before sending it back for approval. The upcoming November 2nd elections will include local council and school board races, along with 2 special elections, including the 15th U.S. House District race formerly held by Steve Stivers. Attorneys in 2 of the lawsuits against Ohio's redrawn legislative maps are asking to appoint a special master to oversee disagreements. National Democratic Redistricting Committee and Ohio Organizing Collaborative lawyers filed on Monday with the Ohio Supreme Court. These lawyers said special oversight is needed to resolve disputes with Republican members of the Ohio Redistricting Commission. The filing said disputes included who can be disposed and what third-party evidence can be admitted. The lawsuits alleged that Republicans unconstitutionally gerrymandered the 4-year maps approved in mid-September. However, Republicans defend the maps as fair.
Hello, I'm forecaster Henry Groff with a look at the weather right now in Athens. It is around 79 degrees with partly cloudy skies. The humidity is around 50% with calm winds out from the southeast at around 5 miles per hour. Looking at the region, and sorry that the graphics are not working right now, but if you look across the region, it's in the low 80s to around upper 70s, but we should start to see those temperatures decrease as the sun sets. And looking at the headlines for this week, the rain chances will start to increase later in the week and should start to decrease by this weekend. Hopefully we'll have a nice weekend coming up. And also temperatures are going to be remaining in the upper 70s through the week. Now back to Joe.
New COVID-19 data is starting to show that cases have been decreasing in the past couple of days, according to the State House News Bureau. The Ohio Department of Health Director
COVID cases across the country going in the right direction, downward. Johns Hopkins University data shows the 7-day average of deaths is down 12% compared to last week. The 7-day average of new cases also declining. Health experts say now is not the time to let up on the virus.
The reality is we still have a lot of cases, a lot of hospitalizations, a lot of deaths.
We still have so many people who are not vaccinated that we better be careful that we don't say we're out of the woods.
On the vaccine front, Johnson & Johnson has asked the U.S. Food and Drug Administration to authorize booster shots for its coronavirus vaccine. The FDA's vaccine committee is scheduled to meet October 14th and 15th to consider booster requests from both J&J and Moderna.
If we bring transmission down, it would also help reduce infections. But the reality is these vaccines are not going to be 100% effective in preventing infection.
A new report by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services shows vaccinations prevented at least 250,000 COVID-19 infections among seniors and tens of thousands of deaths just between January and May of this year. The report from 48 states except Texas and Hawaii also estimates a reduction of 29,000 infections and nearly 4,600 deaths among Black Medicare beneficiaries and a similar number among Hispanic beneficiaries. I'm Daryl Forges reporting.
While the numbers across America are declining, Athens could see an increase. At last night's City Council meeting, Athens Mayor Steve Patterson said that 2 of the 4 viral load testing centers have had a spike in numbers. This gives the city a 4 to 7 day window to when the numbers could go up. Patterson said that the virus is still out there and to use precautions to prevent more cases. Now for more on City Council, here's Nick Veland.
Thanks, Joe. At last night's meeting, City Council President Christine Nisley asked the public to stop the recent rise in graffiti throughout the city. Athens Mayor Steve Patterson says that he first noticed the issue in July when the parking garage had graffiti on it and is working to fix the issue ever since. Nisley asked that if you see graffiti taking place, to contact the police department. You can also use the app See, Click, Fix to report the graffiti to the Service Safety Director, the Code Office, and the Police Office. The punishment for the crime is a 3rd-degree misdemeanor, but somebody must observe the crime taking place. An ordinance authorizing the hire of a new Arts, Parks, and Recreation Director has been approved. The new hire is Catherine Ann Jordan. Ann Jordan is a visiting professor for the Patton College of Education at Ohio University and has a PhD in Parks, Recreation, and Tourism. The hiring also comes with a 34% pay increase that will bring the director's salary to $68,000. Arian Smedley was the only council member to vote against the ordinance, citing concerns of financial struggles with this department. The ordinance ended up being approved on a 6-1 vote. Reporting live in the studio, I'm Nick Veland.
Pharmacies in Cleveland are facing lawsuits from the state regarding the opioid crisis. Facebook whistleblower is testifying in Congress today.
They're invisible keepers of cosmic secrets.
These particles are fundamentally important in the universe.
Neutrinos.
What are these neutrinos' role in the Big Bang, the evolution of our universe?
And what makes the stars shine?
And are they keys to unlock a hidden universe?
95% of the universe is an utter complete mystery.
It's mind-blowing.
Particles unknown on Nova.
It's absolutely a crazy project.
This is our real shot. We don't want to screw it up.
We're building a stick in the sky.
Within a New York landmark.
You can see where the historic building sat.
This super tall skyscraper,
a couple hundred feet taller than the Empire State Building,
can only be as wide.
It has a very small footprint.
As a basketball court.
1,500 feet up in this small amount of area, a logistical nightmare.
PBS is proud to present the 34th Hispanic Heritage Awards. Join us as we celebrate Selma Hayek, Carlos Santana, Ivy Queen, Cali Uchis, Coach Ron Rivera, and Latina NASA engineers, with performances by Cali Uchis, Leslie Grace, Black Pumas, Juanes, The Mavericks, Allie Brooke, Alex Cuba, and more. Hosted by John Leguizamo. Tune in on Friday, October 8th at 9/8 Central, only on PBS.
Next time on the National Parks. During a depression and a war, the parks bring jobs and peace. A young biologist revolutionizes the park's wildlife policies.
George Melendez Wright was a savior of wildlife.
And in Wyoming, battle lines are drawn along the front of the Tetons.
The ranchers were totally opposed.
As the National Parks continues.
Welcome back. A trial date is now set for a former Columbus police officer charged with killing an unarmed black man late last year. Ex-officer Adam Coy allegedly shot and killed 47-year-old Andre Hill in December as Hill emerged from a garage holding up a cell phone. Franklin County Judge Stephen McIntosh denied a request by Coy's attorney to move the trial out of concern around assembling an impartial jury around the already very public case. The trial date is set for March 7, 2022. Cleveland area Lake and Trumbull counties are battling a number of pharmacy chains in court. The counties say that the cost of diminishing the attorney for the two counties argued yesterday that CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, and Giant Eagle failed to prevent the illegal diversion of pain pills contributing to the ongoing opioid crisis. The counties say the cost of diminishing the ongoing crisis reaches $1 billion in both counties. Yesterday's accusations came during opening statements, with the trial being the first national attempt to hold the pharmacy chains accountable. A Facebook whistleblower is testifying before a Senate hearing today after the app's 6-hour outage yesterday. Frances Haugen has leaked thousands of documents indicating Facebook's awareness of problems caused by the app. One of the problems includes how Instagram has a potentially damaging impact on teen girls. Isabel Rosales is in Washington and reports how the company is responding.
Facebook needs to take responsibility.
Facebook is trending, and it's a big mess for the social media giant.
I came to realize a devastating truth. Almost no one outside of Facebook knows what happens inside of Facebook.
Whistleblower Frances Haugen testifying in a Senate subcommittee 24 hours after a massive outage took out Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram.
The company's leadership knows how to make Facebook and Instagram safer, but won't make the necessary changes because they have put their astronomical profits before people.
The former Facebook product manager is taking aim at the company's algorithms, accusing them of leading young users to harmful content like anorexia.
They have to make sure that the next generation is just as engaged with Instagram as the current one. And the way they'll do that is by making sure that children establish habits before they have good self-regulation.
By hooking kids.
By hooking kids.
That's why she's pleading for congressional oversight, rare bipartisan agreement.
You and I ought to resolve our differences and introduce legislation. So as Senator Thune said, let's go to work.
Our differences are very minor, or they seem very minor in the face of the revelations that we've now seen.
Facebook spokesperson weighing in on the testimony.
The majority of young people on Instagram are having a good experience, and that is borne out by the documents that were stolen.
In Washington, Isabel Rosales.
In a statement Tuesday, Facebook denied the whistleblower's claims, saying she didn't work on the subject matter in question and that they don't agree with her characterizations of the many issues she testified about. Oil prices are rising in America. What this means for gas prices, that story's still ahead.
We'll start to see rain chances increase later this week. I'll have more details on that in my full forecast coming up. But first, a look at stocks of local interest.
Absolutely a crazy project.
This is our real shot. We don't want to screw it up.
We're building putting a stick in the sky.
Within a New York landmark,
You can see where the historic building sat.
this super tall skyscraper
A couple 100 feet taller than the Empire State Building.
can only be as wide
It has a very small footprint.
as a basketball court.
1,500 feet up in this small amount of area, a logistical nightmare.
Week 8, we're getting to the point in the season where conference title races are heating up and playoff seeding is taking shape. Gridiron Glory has you covered on all the biggest matchups around Southern Ohio, including Portsmouth traveling to Fairland and Wheelersburg hosting Waverly. Other big games include Jackson traveling to Washington Courthouse and Philo hosting Sheridan. All that and more on Gridiron Glory, 11:30 Friday night, only on WOUB.
How did these homes change America?
I'm Jeffrey Baer, and I'll be your guide
as we go inside 10 homes that changed the way we live. From Taos Pueblo, to Thomas Jefferson's Monticello, to Frank Lloyd Wright's Fallingwater.
Find out which great American homes made the list
of 10 homes that changed America.
Next time on the National Parks. During a depression and a war, the parks bring jobs and peace. A young biologist revolutionizes the park's wildlife policies.
George Melinda's right was a savior of wildlife.
And in Wyoming, battle lines are drawn along the front of the Tetons.
The ranchers were totally opposed.
As the National Parks continues.
Going to be taking a look at full weather for this week, and as we take a look at the visible satellite, you can see that it's still pretty nice outside under partly cloudy skies. Temperatures will start to decrease as we head into the evening and after sunset, but the main story for this week is this low pressure system around Louisiana and Mississippi. That's going to slowly meander up north, and this is what's going to bring our rain into this week. Taking a look at the surface features, the low pressure with that area of clouds is down south, and that's going to be slowly moving up to the north. Right now, towards our south, we have a stalled front, so that's why it's a little warm right now. We're not going to see much of a decrease in temperatures overnight. And looking at tonight, it's going to be around 68 degrees by 8 p.m. Winds are going to be very calm, and it's going to be muggy heading towards midnight. Temperatures tonight will be at around 62 degrees, and it's going to be partly cloudy. Winds will be calm. Looking at the regional area for tonight, it's going to be in the mid to low 60s. Some areas could see 59 degrees, but we're still going to be in the 60s. Looking at the surface features for tomorrow, that low pressure system I've been talking to you about will move up closer to our area. A warm front will move through the area tomorrow, so we're still going to be seeing the 80s tomorrow, but it should start to look a lot nicer in the middle of the week. And looking at the weather for the morning, it's going to be sunny at around 63 degrees. You can definitely see that the warm front does move through in the morning because we do have this really quick warm up, and by noon we should be in the upper 70s, even low 80s. Looking at tomorrow, we're going to see some isolated thunderstorms possible in the afternoon. Chances is going to be around 30%, and winds will be out from the southeast at 5 miles per hour. Looking at the regional for our area, we're going to be seeing the low 80s across the region, with Athens at around 80 and Columbus at around 82. And looking at the 7-day forecast, you can see that there are plenty chances of rain throughout the week, with Thursday and Friday being our highest chance. Gridiron Glory people are not happy at me for that forecast on Friday. And Saturday, we do see a slight chance of rain for homecoming weekend at Ohio University, but that should be in the early morning. Temperatures will stay in the upper 70s to low 80s, with temperatures at night in the low 60s to upper 50s. Now back to Joe.
Oil prices are now at their highest level in nearly 7 years. The cost of U.S. crude jumped 1.5% to nearly $79 a barrel Tuesday. That is a 62% spike in oil prices so far this year and a level that has not been seen since November 2014. Tuesday's jump came after OPEC and its allies declined to significantly ramp up oil production. It will instead stick to a modest plan to increase the global oil supply. Of course, high crude prices mean prices at the pump are going up. As of Tuesday, the national average for a gallon of regular gas is $3.20. AAA says that's over $1 more than a year ago. New questions tonight about the timeline of an oil spill off the coast of Southern California. Amplify Energy Co., which operates the pipeline, reported the spill Saturday morning. But California authorities say they were notified of an oil sheen Friday night, more than 12 hours prior to the official report. Camelia Bernal is in Huntington Beach with the latest.
We're focused on two things today, the ongoing cleanup and the investigation. Amplify Energy says that it's possible that the anchor of a ship passing by hit that pipeline and caused the leak, but they're still trying to figure out exactly what happened. But investigators here, or local officials here, say that that is not enough. The district attorney here in Orange County says he wants an independent investigation. He says this company should not be investigating itself and instead wants independent divers to go out there and try to figure out how this happened. Of course, this is going to be ongoing over the next couple of weeks, but residents here continue to demand answers. In Huntington Beach, California, I'm Camila Bernal.
Cleanup efforts are underway and expected to take a while. Beaches in the area are closed until further notice.
Ohio soccer is rolling to start MAC play. Hear from the head coach later on about this strong start. And right after the break, 2 Ohio of the week after strong performances this past weekend. Be sure to stay
Week 8, we're getting to the point in the season where conference title races are heating up and playoff seeding is taking shape. Gridiron Glory has you covered on all the biggest matchups around Southern Ohio, including Portsmouth traveling to Fairland and Wheelersburg hosting Waverly. Other big games include Jackson traveling to Washington Courthouse and Philo hosting Sheridan. All that and more on Gridiron Glory, 11:30 Friday night, only on WOUB.
PBS is proud to present the 34th Hispanic Heritage Awards. Join us as we celebrate Selma Hayek, Carlos Santana, Ivy Queen, Callie Uchis, Coach Ron Rivera, and Latina NASA engineers, with performances by Callie Uchis, Leslie Grace, Black Pumas, Juanes, The Mavericks, Allie Brooke, Alex Cuba, and more. Hosted by John Leguizamo. Tune in on Friday, October 8th at 9/8 Central, only on PBS.
Next time on the national parks. During a depression and a war, the parks bring jobs and peace. A young biologist revolutionizes the park's wildlife policies.
George Millen is right. Was a savior of wildlife.
And in Wyoming, battle lines are drawn along the front of the Tetons.
The ranchers were totally opposed.
As the national parks continues.
On Life from Above. Looking down from space, satellite cameras capture the brilliant colors of our planet, revealing an amazing kaleidoscope set in a world that is vibrant, surprising, and changing, created by nature and humans. Discover our planet's incredible spectrum of colors as you've never seen it before.
Ohio football's running back Demontre Tuggle and defensive end Will Evans both earned MAC East Players of the Week. Both Tuggle and Evans helped lead Ohio to its first win of the season over Akron. Tuggle had a career high of 201 yards on 17 carries and 1 touchdown for Ohio's offense. Tuggle was also named Earl Campbell Tyler Rose Award National Player of the Week. On the defensive side, Evans finished with 2 sacks for 11 yards and 2 tackles for loss, but says there's still room for an improvement.
I feel like I played a really good game, but my best is yet to come. You know what I'm saying? Each week we come in and we try to do something a little bit different, try to do something better, hone in on some of the mistakes and technique things that we can clean up. And I feel like although I did have a good game, you know, there's always something to go back to the film session and clean up.
Evans in the defense will go up against a challenging offense on Saturday against Central Michigan. Ohio Soccer senior goalkeeper Sam Wexel was named MAC Defensive Player of the Week this week. It is the first time she has won this award. Wexel had a season high of 6 saves against Bowling Green on September 30th and again on Sunday against Toledo. She had gone 372 consecutive shutout minutes and hasn't allowed a goal since Ohio's game against Buffalo on September 23rd. Ohio Soccer has had an impressive start to MAC play so far this season. The Bobcats currently have 3 wins, 0 losses, and 1 tie since they have began conference play and are 7-3-1 overall. Ohio sits at the top of the Mid-American Conference standings. Even though it's a strong start for the Bobcats, head coach Aaron Rodgers knows there is still a lot of soccer to be played.
And so, you know, we're just taking, I mean, this is so coach speak, but we're just taking it one game at a time, and every game that we play, the next team's the best team that we play. Doesn't matter who it is, doesn't matter their record, it's the best team that we have because we have to bring our best. And as you saw today, the MAC's such a competitive conference. There's so much parity in the MAC that we have to bring our best every day.
Ohio looks to keep up its winning ways on Thursday as it hosts Western Michigan. Ohio field hockey is coming down to the home stretch of MAC play, with only 3 conference games remaining. Ohio currently sits 5th out of 8 teams, and his only win has come against Ball State a few weeks ago. The Bobcats still have yet to face Bellarmine, Central Michigan, and Miami. They also have 2 Big Ten opponents in Ohio State and Indiana left. Ohio will face the Bellarmine Knights this Friday at Pruitt Field. In Major League Baseball news, the postseason starts tonight, and while there are no Ohio teams in the playoffs this year, some good matchups still remain. The Yankees and Red Sox open up play tonight in the American League wildcard game. Both teams had an identical record in the regular season. Garrett Cole will get the start for New York, and Nathan Eovaldi will take the hill for Boston. First pitch is set for 8 p.m. at Fenway Park. I'm Maria Manessi, and that's it for sports. Back to you, Joe.
Thanks, Maria. A West Virginia couple is celebrating a huge milestone. Ulysses and Lorraine Dawson got dressed up and renewed their long-lasting love of 75 years. The couple recreated their original wedding ceremony, and Ulysses even sported the same World War II uniform he wore in 1946, which still fits 75 years after first tying the knot.
The knot was tied awful tight, and it's still holding.
For today, right for tomorrow, it's going to be in the low 80s with a isolated chance of thunderstorms in the afternoon. Winds are going to be calm from the southeast at around 5 miles per hour, and the chance of rain in the afternoon will be around 30%. Looking at the region, everywhere across the region, we'll see an isolated chance of thunderstorms in the afternoon. Temperatures will be in the low 80s with Athens at around 80. Columbus at around 82, Newark at around 83, and Ironton will be in the low 80s. And looking at the 7-day forecast just one more time, going to be a little difficult start to the 7-day forecast with a chance of showers Thursday and Friday and into Saturday for homecoming weekend at Ohio University. Saturday, we do see a 30% chance of rain, but that should end by late morning. Temperatures on Saturday will be in the upper 70s with lows in the upper 90s. And by next week, we should be seeing partly cloudy skies. Now back to Joe.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Joe Collins. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at woub.org. Have a great night.
Support comes from Ohio University's Center for Campus and Community Engagement, fostering mutually beneficial partnerships between faculty, staff, and students and community organizations. More information at ohio.edu/community engagement. Support comes from Hocking Valley Bank, offering mortgage loans or refinancing on an existing home, making it easy for dreams to become a reality. Hocking Valley Bank, we know loans.
Good evening, I'm Judy Woodruff. On the NewsHour tonight, Facebook under fire. A former employee testifies to Congress the tech giant harms children, weakens democracy, and lacks accountability. Then